Sup everyone, this is Draco Evolve. Manchester United versus West Ham United in the Premier League. This is my match preview. As always, I'm going to start off with the table because at the moment, currently that's the most important thing. As you can see, Leicester dropped points in the last Premier League outing whilst we played Chelsea in the FA Cup. So we do have a game in hand. And the most important thing is that we are level on points with Leicester, including the goal difference. Look, anything other than avoiding a defeat against West Ham will mean we'll be officially fourth and it will be all in our hands. However, a defeat to West Ham, which judging by the last few games could be a possibility, means that the last game against Leicester is going to be such a huge game. I mean, regardless, even if we win, although we're going to be in pole position, it's going to be such a huge game against Leicester. Anyway, as you can see in the last 5 games, we are the team in form, in joint form with Spurs, having won 4 and drawn once, which is good. However, the last 2 games in the Premier League kind of like put me off a little bit, and I'm sure put a lot of you guys off. Obviously a bit of fatigue is getting to them. Also, I think the mentality, the pressure of getting the top 4 is probably affecting some players. There are silly mistakes creeping into our games. We are playing a lot more passive, especially the last 3 games in all competitions. It does seem like we are too scared to lose a goal or give away points, and we're not playing that free-flowing football we've been accustomed to seeing in the last couple of weeks versus the last 3 games that we've played so far. As you can see, the goal difference now is officially all equal. Initially, Leicester did have a +3 goal difference. However, them losing 3-0 to Spurs was brilliant in our, obviously for us, which meant that we are practically level on points with a game in hand. Now, West Ham, let's have a look at West Ham. West Ham in the last 5 games have won 3 and drawn once. They are not in a bad run of form. In fact, they're actually in a good run of form, having lost only once in the last 5 games. So we need to be careful of how we approach the game and how we treat this game. Because let's face it, Southampton, who's been on a bit of a slightly worse run of form versus West Ham, and Crystal Palace certainly have been a worse run of form. We have not blown these teams apart. Obviously, Southampton took a point away from us, and Crystal Palace certainly we didn't kind of see the free-flowing football or the comfortable victory that we were expecting. So West Ham will definitely give us a little bit of a headache. In terms of the relegation fight, I do believe that they are out of the relegation fight. I mean, they are 6 points ahead of the drop zone with 2 games to go. Again, anything can happen. However, with the goal difference that Aston Villa and Bournemouth have versus what West Ham has, there's a motorbike outside, guys, sorry. I don't think even if they drop all the points, I don't think they'll go down due to goal difference. So I think West Ham is safe. It is almost a nothing game, you can say, with nothing to play for West Ham at the very least, apart from pride. But for Manchester United, it is a huge game. We cannot drop points no matter what. It's an absolute must that we need to win, especially considering the fact that how many players that we've rested over the weekend in the FA Cup, and also the lineup changes that we had in terms of tactics. Talking about changes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out and defended David De Gea. Obviously, we've seen David De Gea, he made a lot of mistakes this season, certainly. I'm not going to bother with last season, but this season, and especially the last game against Chelsea, where almost single-handedly he finished off the game in conceding a goal which he could have saved, but certainly the second goal he could have saved. And it's been like that with David De Gea. It's been sort of like a topsy-turvy. We're not seeing the David De Gea that we were used to seeing about 3-4 years ago, where he was almost unstoppable and unplayable. But now he's coming to a stage where it does seem like he is droppable. There needs to be a challenge to challenge his position. I think there's a bit of a comfort zone he is in. He knows that he's going to get the first team regardless of whether he plays well or not. Obviously, he's not going to deliberately throw the game, but it's the mentality of knowing that you can get away with mistakes because you're not droppable. But that will hopefully change in the next season. But anyway, this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes David De Gea is mentally strong enough to deal with the criticism coming his way following a series of uncharacteristic mistakes this season. I messed that one totally. So this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say. This is not going to become a David De Gea press conference. We are just going to stick together. So this is in regards to the press conference that's happened. We've got 2 games and we're going to focus on that. David is mentally strong enough to know his job is to perform in training the next day and be ready for the games. My job is to prepare the team for West Ham, and that's what we're doing. We're not going to talk about individuals because no one here is going to feel that we put more pressure on them. So this is in regards to David De Gea. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not going to come out and criticize him publicly. That's not his style, and that's big respect to him. You know, keep all the criticism, all the shouting, all the fines behind the scenes, and protect your players and the morale, because David De Gea is still an important player to us. So fair play to him. In terms of you know, going on and doing something better, this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say. When you lose a game, you are hurt. You're disappointed and you just got to focus on the next thing. A defeat isn't the end of the world. Now it's business as usual and on to the next game. We've had so many setbacks as a club. We've lost big games before and we've turned that around. That's what we have to do now. In terms of the Champions League qualification, you always want to be part of the biggest tournaments, and that is an attraction. But Man United is attractive enough. Everyone can see now that we're on the road to something better. I feel so anyway. Look, at the end of the day, Champions League is important. I did feel that, you know, we could have had a chance in the FA Cup. That is silverware as well. But we had too many changes. Forget the changes. We had a whole formation change. And Lampard is not he's a clever manager. He's not stupid, you know, to face the same formation 4 times in a row now. He knew exactly how to play us. But in terms of the European competition, Champions League specifically, obviously it is important to get in, not just the financial aspect of it, you know, but also attracting the players. Although Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say Manchester United is attractive enough, but to attract the most elite players, you do need the cutting edge of being in the Champions League. So it's always going to be nice to see Manchester United in Europe. Whether we win it or not, that's a next thing. Is not let's not think about that yet. But to be in it and consistently, you know, be in the biggest competitions will always improve us as a squad. In terms of the Manchester United and West Ham stats head to head, you can see. So we've lost 2-0 to West Ham. You know, when we played earlier in the season, which is right at the beginning of the season. As you can see, we lost 2-0. The reverse fixture last season we won 2-1, but obviously having lost to West Ham already in the season, which we have done, say the likes of Crystal Palace as well, these are the teams that in the last few games that we've had or having are the teams that ended up beating us in the beginning of the season. So it's important to play for the shirt, play for the points, and play to get into the top 4 and put the setback of losing that game against Chelsea behind us. As I said, West Ham are in a good form. Then it's going to be tough, but I reckon we're going to have a bit of a cutting edge as long as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer don't change his formation, which I highly doubt he will. I think we are going to win. I think it's going to be a close game. I think I'm going to go for 2-1. I think there is mistakes in us at the back. I think West Ham will push us and probably will score, but I think at home, with so much at stake, big game players would probably come alive, especially Bruno Fernandes and hopefully Pogba. Pogba getting a bit of a rest as well, and getting a victory 2-1 or even 1-0 will be perfect. You know, as long as there's 3 points at this stage of the season, it doesn't matter about the performance anymore. It's all about the points, especially considering the fact that there's so much to play for. So 2-1 is my prediction for the match tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What is your prediction in terms of the formation? You guys know by now I always do the predicted lineup. We're gonna go for a 4-2-3-1 here. Don't worry about the numbers, guys. You know, I don't bother with the numbers. You know me by now. We're gonna go for a 4-2-3-1 here. Wan-Bissaka, although I do feel he does need a bit of a rest. He's one of the players that is played too much. Lindelof is definitely one, and I reckon we're gonna keep David De Gea. You know, it's not right for us to drop him, especially when there's 2 games to go. But I think we're going to keep David De Gea in goal. In terms of the left back, it is a bit of a conundrum. You know, Luke Shaw is out, not officially, not fully, but I reckon Williams will play on the left back. Although he didn't have the best of games against Chelsea, but I reckon he will play. Midfield will pick itself. It's going to be Matic and Pogba holding that fort in the middle of the park. Bruno is definitely going to be playing the sort of like a hybrid number 10, number 8 role, but in and around there. Rashford and Martial is a no-brainer. 2 guys in great goal-scoring forms. And I think on the right is going to be Mason Greenwood, having seen Daniel James given a rest, sort of, given a starting berth in the Chelsea match. I think this is how we're going to line up. Obviously, Bruno can drop in here to make a bit of a 4-3-3 formation, and obviously Matic can hold the fort, as we've seen plenty of times. But this is my predicted lineup. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what is your predicted lineup, and do you feel we're gonna make wholesale changes? I don't believe we do. But do you feel Williams will start maybe, or we're going to see Timothy Fosu-Mensah starting there? He has started there last game. Bit of a defensive left back, you know, playing in the left back position. But I think this is going to be the lineup. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in the match review after the game tomorrow. And as always, stay fun and funny.